guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be my hashtag I'm gonna know by finale video. I'm pretty sure this is going to be my finale, but I'm going to kind of talk about that as we go through the video. So I just kind of want to talk about how this journey went for the last year of trying not to buy so much makeup. So just as a little bit of a backstory, if you don't know, I got into makeup in January of 2014 and I kind of went crazy that whole year. That's where most of my makeup came from. And you know, towards the end of that year, I started getting into project panning. I started my first project pan in September, and then in December I started my channel, and in January I decided to go on a no-buy. So I went on a no-buy for several reasons. One is I wanted to stop spending so much money. Sorry, I have some notes written down. So I wanted to stop spending so much money because I spent a lot of money on makeup. Like all my fun money I had in 2014 went towards makeup, and just like thinking about how much I spent in 1 year is insane and embarrassing. So I wanted to stop that and, have more money to do other things with. And then I also was starting to feel overwhelmed by the amount of makeup I had. Once I started my first project at Tenpan and realizing how long it takes to get through makeup products, just like looking at my collection became a little bit overwhelming, thinking I have enough eyeshadow to last me a decade, and that is insane. So that's another reason. And finally, I kind of just wanted to change my shopping habits. I wanted to stop buying stuff to get a gift with purchase or to get a specific sample from Sephora, which sounds so stupid, but it's something I know that other people do and I used to do all the time. I didn't want to stop buying stuff just because it's on sale. Like, if there's something that I know is from a good brand and it's super on sale, I feel like I have to buy it even if it's not something I was ever interested in. And so, that would happen with sales online, but also at places like Nordstrom Rack. If I found something from NARS or something from Lorac, I would get so excited, and it was such a good deal, I would feel like I needed to buy it just for the sake of buying it when it's not something I needed or really wanted. And finally, I wanted to stop buying into hyped up products. I feel like there's so many times where you're watching YouTube and you start seeing certain items pop up on all these different channels and everyone loves it, and then a few months later they show up in those videos of products I regret or things I was disappointed by. And there were times I used to go on the subreddit Makeup Addiction, and like people get so hyped up about certain items. And I remember when the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush Palette came out, everyone was so excited, and then it was a VIB Rouge exclusive and everyone was freaking out that it was going to sell out, and I got the email from Sephora that I had early access. I was like, oh, like everyone really wants this, like maybe I should buy it while I can because it's going to sell out. And then did it sell out? No. At the VIB Rouge sale like a month later, they had tons of them. I could have gotten it for cheaper, and it's not something I was even had my eye on before I realized everyone else really wanted it. So I kind of wanted to put a stop to those types of purchasing habits. So I'm just going to kind of talk about how it went throughout the whole year. So at the beginning, if you watch my videos, they're really long and rambly. I had a lot to say because I was really struggling. It was really hard for me at first. I feel like every month in the first couple months, I, kind of broke my no-buy and I made up all these excuses and tried to justify it. Like in January, I got a couple eyeshadows using a gift card from something I had returned for Christmas, and I did the same thing in February with the NARS Dual Intensity palette. But slowly, it really got better, and I think the main thing that triggered it becoming really easy was reading the KonMari book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. So that book really had a huge impact on me. I went through and I did the entire tidying up process with my whole life, and I think just realizing that it would be so nice to just not feel overwhelmed by the amount of stuff you have and just only have things that really make you happy really kind of hit me hard and made me realize that I don't need to be buying new things all the time. So some of the things I did to kind of control or change some of the habits I talked about wanting to change, where I stopped following brands on Instagram. I also stopped following like Trend Mood and a couple other they're really great Instagram accounts. I used to follow Lipstick Junkie, I think it was her name. They're all really great accounts, but they would always be posting about deals. Oh, Nouveau Cheap was another one. always posting about sales and deals, and I just found those that really triggered me to spend money I didn't need to spend. So I unfollowed all of those people. I unfollowed all brands just because they would always be posting about their newest product. I ended up unfollowing a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of bigger ones that did a lot of reviews. So I'm only really subscribed to a few bigger channels. And in general, I kind of stopped watching hauls and reviews of products for a while just to kind of get that kind of stuff out of my mind. And it really worked. Like, for a while I had no idea what was coming out, what was going on. I have gotten back to watching more hauls and reviews, but I have found that I'm not really tempted to pick any of the items up. I'm just kind of curious and I hear about them, and sometimes I do like, oh, I might like that if I didn't already have X, Y, and Z. So I have gotten to a place where those kind of videos don't make me go, oh, I need that now. Another thing that really has helped me is panning in general. It really makes me think twice before purchasing anything. There are so many times I was in Ulta and Sephora and I would pick something up and I would think about buying it, but then I would think about how long it would take me to use it up. And that would just be like using it exclusively. And I would be like, whoa, if I buy this, it'll take me a year to use up. Do I really need it? And I would put it back. So I really think that if you are going on a no-buy, even if you don't really want to get into panning and like do it all the time, I think it's kind of worth it to do a little tiny project to just kind of see how long it actually takes, because that has probably the second biggest impact on me, aside from the KonMari book, was realizing how long it takes to finish up products. So the first few months of my no-buy, I really did struggle, and I did pick up some things here and there. I ended up switching my no-buy. Originally, I was going to allow myself to buy one item per month, and I was trying to save up some of the items for the April VIB sale, but I found that was really making me focus on high-end items. I felt like if I could only buy one thing, and if I picked a $5 item at the drugstore, that was kind of wasting my one item. So I would focus on more high-end things, and that was not what I wanted this project to encourage in me. So I switched to a beauty budget, and I picked $40 or $100 for the year, which is still pretty high, but it averaged out to $33 a month. And so I found that really helped, because if there was something cheap that I wanted, I didn't feel like I was like wasting my one item or something. But even still, I really found myself slowly not even wanting to buy anything. In June, I went abroad to Scotland for a month. My husband was working there for 6 months, and so I was there in June. And all year I'd been looking forward to this trip. And one of the things I was excited about was to try some UK makeup brands, or brands you couldn't get in the US. And to be honest, when I got there, my purchases felt kind of forced. I found myself feeling overwhelmed, and when I looked at things, thinking about how long it would take me to use them up, did I really need them? And I really didn't want anything, but I kind of also, part of me was like, well, this is your one chance to try these brands. So I did buy a few things, but it did kind of feel forced to me. So I'm glad I didn't go crazy and buy a ton of things, but I wouldn't say I necessarily regret any of the things I bought. I bought 2 drugstore makeup palettes. One is full of really bright colors, and I thought that was a really good investment, because there have been times where I go a little crazy and I get tempted by the Urban Decay Electric palette, and that's not something I'm going to ever get a lot of use out of. So I thought it would be fun to have those kinds of shades, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So I got this really cheap palette from Makeup Revolution with those shades, and then I got another one that is named for a Gwen Stefani song, and all those shades are lyrics from that song, and of course I had to pick that up. And then I got a couple of brow products from Soap & Glory. I probably should have just gotten one, but I got 2. And then I got a couple of foundations that I really like from Bourjois, and then I think I got a concealer, and I think that's it. So I really didn't go too crazy, but I probably could have gone without buying anything and been totally fine. So I kind of regret like forcing myself to buy stuff, but I think I made smart choices when it came to what I did buy. So then in July, I moved to a new city to start my internship, and I don't have a job right now. I'm working full-time, but I'm paying to work. I have to pay to do this internship. There's a tuition for it. And so that has really affected, I don't feel like I have any spending money. I'm trying to be really frugal and, not spend too much extra money on fun stuff. But I mean, not that I don't have money to do some fun stuff. I do have money to go out to eat and stuff like that. But, you know, if I buy makeup, then I don't have as much money to go out to eat, because I'm lucky that my husband has a really good job and is able to finance me in this year of not working. But, you know, that kind of also makes me feel like I shouldn't be, you know, spending a lot of money on makeup and other things like that that I don't need. So that has helped. So I think that also, like, having limited time to think about makeup, play with makeup, you know, watch YouTube videos about makeup, look at Instagram posts about makeup, has really helped me take a step back and kind of pull me back from my obsession with makeup. I still love makeup. I still love putting on my makeup in the morning. I still really enjoy it. I love all the makeup I have, but I've kind of taken a step back from the shopping and needing to try everything kind of mentality. So this is going to be my finale video, I believe, because to be honest, I feel cured. I filmed a hashtag I'm gonna know by update for like October / the beginning of November, and it was really short, and I really had nothing to say because I really do feel cured of spending way too much money on makeup. I haven't really been doing any impulse purchases. I am not really tempted by any new products. We all know that I am going to get the Gwen Stefani palette, but that was going to happen, like, no matter when it came out, that's happening. But aside from that, there's really nothing I want or need or feel compelled to buy. And so now I did avoid going to Ulta and Sephora for a long time, but now I can go in there no problem. I can swatch things and look at things, and, you know, it's not hard for me not to buy anything. I find that, you know, I have one of pretty much anything I could ever want or I could ever see. I have dupes for almost anything. There's only so many colors and types of things you can have, and I don't really feel tempted to buy anything. I also really want to declutter more. I have only had a small portion of my makeup collection here with me. I would say like maybe a little less than half. Some categories I brought everything I had, like foundation and primer, but like blush and eyeshadow I brought probably less than half what I have at home. And I really haven't been like bored. Only in the last week I kind of got bored with the blush selection I have, but I brought like, I think I have about 6 palettes here, eyeshadow palettes. I've basically only used my Lorac Pro, the Urban Decay Pulp Fiction, both of which are my palette challenge, and then I've used one Makeup Revolution palette a few times. I haven't even touched the other ones. So going through that has just really made me realize I have way too many and I could probably get rid of some. And all that being said, that doesn't mean there aren't products I'm still curious to try. I just don't feel that rush or urgency to try them. There are a lot of foundations I would like to try, but I'm not going to try them until I use up the ones that I have. And I think it's also a good idea to kind of wait, because when things first come out and they're hyped up, there's a lot of great reviews about them, I think it's good to wait and see if people are still loving those products, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 months later. Because a lot of times I find that they're not. I'll watch someone review something, they love it, they're obsessed with it, it's in their favorites, and then, you know, 4 months later they're like, oh, I thought I loved this, but I realized I really didn't. So I think it's a good thing to not always be buying things as soon as they come out. So my plan for next year, I'm not really sure. I've been going back and forth if I want to do a beauty budget that's even lower than what I did this year and kind of only buy things on a need basis. So if I use up all my foundations, I could buy a foundation or something like that. And there's very few items that I think I'll even get to that point with in the next year. And then kind of being on a no-buy for colored products and everything else that I have plenty of. But part of me is also kind of like, now that I feel cured, I could just, you know, not even think about it and just let myself, like, I don't need to have a project about it necessarily. If I end up wanting to buy something, I feel like I'm in a good place where if I am going to buy something, I will have thought long and hard about it and it will be a good decision, whereas before I was making a lot of impulsive decisions. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do a beauty budget next year. Let me know what you guys think, if you want to continue to see videos like this or beauty budget type videos. I think what I might do next year or just in the future is if I buy anything that month, at the end of the month, kind of have a things I bought this month, like a monthly haul, and kind of keep track of my purchases throughout the year. But I don't know if I'm necessarily going to like have this budget in mind, because I think in some ways that might make you think like, oh, I said I could spend $200 on makeup this year, like, oh, maybe I'll just buy this thing. Like, I feel really good now, but who knows if I backtrack. But that's where I'm at right now. So I've seen other people kind of do that, like show at the end of the month what they bought. So I might do that. I probably won't even have things that I bought every month. Maybe I will, like when it comes to skincare and stuff, because I do still buy that kind of thing, and I run out of that stuff much more frequently than makeup. So finally, I have some advice for you if you are trying to go on a no-buy, or if you're in the middle of a no-buy, or if it's something you might want to do in the future. My first piece of advice is know that you'll probably slip up. It is a really hard thing to change your shopping habits if it's a problem for you. So kind of know that you're going to slip up, but kind of keep it under control when you do. So I think I see a lot of people who start to go in a no-buy and then they end up slipping up. They buy one thing and they're like, well, I already bought this thing, so I bought these 4 other things too. Just if you buy one thing, just kind of take a step back, be like, okay, I probably shouldn't have bought this, but I'm gonna like start over now and not just throw the baby out with the bathwater and buy everything now. And I know, like, even I did this. I made a lot of excuses to justify things like, oh, I'm using a gift card, oh, this. But it's still makeup that I have now that I probably didn't need. So really kind of examine your choices and like recognize when you are making justifications and things like that, which isn't always easy to do right in the moment. But I think looking back, you can kind of see like, oh, I was totally just trying to justify that purchase. So I think if you don't make videos or anything, to maybe keep a diary of like your purchases, write down what you bought, why you bought it, and that kind of thing. And I think that would really help you be more critical about your purchases. My second piece of advice is to change the habits that lead you to buying makeup. And I kind of talked about this already, but if you tend to go on Instagram and see someone post something and then, 10 minutes later you find out you've ordered it, really look at who you're following and maybe unfollow some people. It's totally fine. The accounts will still be there later if you want to refollow them, but it's good to take a break, I think, and step back. Or same thing with YouTube. If you watch hauls and then you find yourself filling up your cart with all the items you just saw in a haul, maybe unfollow some people for a while, unsubscribe, or just avoid any reviews and haul videos, and kind of give yourself that break. Because I think once you take a little break, I did the same thing. Now I can watch those videos and I don't feel tempted by the items. It's more of a curiosity thing. My third and final piece of advice is to kind of spend time, invest in other hobbies and other interests in your life. So I used to go to concerts all the time, and I kind of stopped as I got older. But, since I moved here, I've been going to more again, spending my money that way, which is more fun to kind of spend your money on experiences rather than things. Also, since I moved, I've spent a lot of time listening to podcasts. They're not about makeup, they're about other stuff I'm interested in, so that has also really helped. Instead of like your default thing at home is to go to YouTube and watch videos about makeup, maybe find a new TV show to watch, listen to a podcast. If you have other interests, like, I don't know, going to the gym or doing pottery, I don't know, maybe spend more time doing that kind of stuff for a while and make some goals, like I'm going to spend, 3 days a week knitting for an hour instead of 3 days a week spending an hour watching YouTube. That's just a random thing I just thought of. I don't know. But just really focus on your other interests, and it'll kind of make it easier to not obsess over your one interest of makeup. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, not just this video, but all of my videos on this subject for the past year, talking to other people about this kind of stuff. And that's another piece of advice, by the way, is like talk to someone before you want to buy something. I found that, a few times I was tempted by things I would post on Instagram, and I would get a lot of great conversations with you guys. So that's another thing, kind of maybe have a buddy to keep you in check. But yeah, you guys have been so great over this past year, giving me advice on dupes and things when I was tempted by certain products, and just talking about it can make it easier to get through. So thank you guys again. I will see you really soon. Bye.